Welcome to Super Dave Rains and the Big Show on location at Escape Velocity Comics here in Colorado Springs for the Suicide Squad celebration. Let's rate the actors and the character performance. Let me ask you about Will Smith, Deadshot.
Well, yeah, I've already started on that one. Will Smith, he's the best actor in the film. He absolutely delivers his role, sells it, and it does help that he's given the most background in the film and one of the most relatable, backstories. I don't want to get too into that, but he's given the most to work with.
Right.
And he sells it. He's a lot of fun. He sells the drama, the humor, the action. He does it all.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Let me ask you about Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, because this is the first time we've seen Harley Quinn ever in a movie.
And that's why a lot of fans were skeptical. They were excited because we were going to get Harley Quinn, but skeptical because we've never seen her. And she does good. There are moments where because I think she's Australian.
Yes, she is.
And there's a couple moments where I thought her accent came out and it was a little weird, but for most part, she holds the Brooklyn accent and it holds up really well. And she does a good job. The only issue I had with her was the script. There were moments where they kind of tried to shoehorn in a lot of her lines from the comics or from the animated series. And they were great. She delivered them well, but they were just kind of out of place. Like, you can tell they were just like, oh, let's give some fan service here, but it's got to work at the same time. But overall, she did great. I thoroughly enjoyed her.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think one of the problems with her feeling out of place or not feeling right was, I think, the editing. The editing, along with the script, really hurt. But I thought she was great in this film. I really did. And I'm biased, so it's not my bias coming through. Margot Robbie's my favorite actress. But she was really good in this film as Harley Quinn. I thought she hit it. She nailed it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they nailed the characters. Overall, in this movie, they really nailed the characters. Let me ask you about Jared Leto as Joker.
So Jared Leto's kind of a mixed bag, and it doesn't necessarily fall on him. To me, he was good with what he got on screen, the little amount of time. But he had some of the most jarring scenes. Like, they just randomly showed up at some really odd times in the film. And that added to, the film's pacing issues that are also in there. But there wasn't enough story for him. Like, I know we know the Joker. We all know who he is. But part of what made Heath Ledger's character so good, too, is not just the actor, but they gave his character a lot of room to grow for you to realize, like, wow, this guy is psychotic.
Right.
And they let him grow. They gave him some background. And I like the mystery of, how I got these scars. Like, that was fun. We never got that with Jared Leto. He was just there. So what Joker is he? They don't give you that. It's just a different variation than what we've seen. But I wanted a little more to add to that. So would I like to see him in another movie? Yeah, definitely. I think he deserves another shot because what he did do was really good.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think with this Joker, we saw a little bit of the throwback Joker from maybe the 50s and 60s. A little, Cesar Romero. And I also think that this Joker was a little bit more gangster than Heath Ledger.
Yeah, it was straight up Scarface.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. So let me ask you about Viola Davis, Amanda Waller.
Well, Viola Davis, you don't get much better than that in Hollywood. She is at the top of her game right now, and she's incredible. To me, she was the best actor or actress in the film.
Right.
It's funny because Amanda Waller's character is just so strong in the movie. Mm-hmm. And to me, I even thought she was the best villain out of everybody. And unfortunately, she kind of drops out in the second act. And at that point is when the film falls apart the most, is when she stops making an impact in the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought Amanda Waller was the biggest villain in this movie. Mm-hmm. She was just evil. I mean, she would get rid of anyone that would get in her way, and she didn't hesitate. So, and I would agree that the movie did kind of fall apart when she went out of it. But I thought her portrayal was just right in line with the comic books and Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. It was solid. So, let me ask you about Jay Hernandez Diablo.
So Jay Hernandez was my surprise in the film. Jay Hernandez was from End of Watch, right?
Yes.
Same actor, yeah, because End of Watch, also by the same director, David Ayer, is a really fantastic film. And Jay Hernandez is good. The issue I had with Diablo is because, again, he was my kind of surprise in the film with his character. But the issue with him is they don't give him the background development that Harley Quinn and Deadshot and Joker even got. And when they do decide to bring up his story, which is one of the better backgrounds in the film, it's brought up at such a random point. Like during the climax of the film, they decided to just bring it back for a really somber kind of 10-minute scene that's just really out of place.
Yeah.
And the whole turn of events there, it didn't pay off for me because of that. Like none of it felt earned.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, that's where we get the issue with the editing. And it was a good story, but it came too late. It should have came much earlier. So let me ask you about Jai Courtney as Boomerang.
So Jai Courtney, I personally think he's kind of a garbage actor. I'm going to be honest. He hasn't been good in Terminator. He was terrible in the newest Die Hard. That movie was just not good. So seeing him in this role, I was kind of hesitant, and he did good. They actually brought out a side of him I hadn't seen. He was really humorous, and it worked. But that said, his character was given some of the least development. He was literally just there. And there's some, again, random editing with him, and I don't want to get too much into spoiler detail here, but there's literally one scene where he's like, I don't want to be in the team, and he leaves. And then the very next scene, 10 seconds later, he's shown with the team walking down the street. And I'm like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I would agree.
Absolutely no sense.
Right, I would agree with that. That was like, wow, what happened here?
And that's kind of how he was in the film. He was just there, just thrown in randomly.
Right. So let me ask you about Killer Croc, Enchantress, and Rick Flag.
Okay. Let's start with Rick Flag, because he's the most interesting one, because Tom Hardy was originally supposed to play Rick Flag. And Tom Hardy had dropped out, and there were many rumors. Some of it was that he was faithful to Nolan, and his loyalty was with Bane, so he didn't want to do it. Part of it was schedule conflicts. Well, now it's coming out that basically after they screened the film, people wanted more Deadshot and they wanted more Joker, so they cut his role down to make room, and that's why he dropped out. I personally just think he dropped out because of the script. Yeah. Rick Flag, to me, is the lamest character in the movie. Like, he just cries and whines his way through the film. He's lame. Like, there's no other way to put it.
Right.
Killer Croc, he was okay. Mm-hmm. I thought the special effects mixed with the practical effects for him were really solid. But again, they had a really good actor play him. I can't ever pronounce his name.
I can't either.
But he was really solid.
Look it up, folks.
Yeah, he only had like 5 lines of dialogue. Yeah. But again, he was just there. Like, you cut Killer Croc out of the movie and you would never miss him.
Right.
And then Enchantress, again, she's hard to talk about without too many spoilers, but she's terrible. For a character with real supernatural powers that really could have brought some, big things to just superhero movies, she was just really a letdown. And to see her basically dissolve into nothing but a sex icon was really beyond me. I can't get too much into spoilers, but her outfit alone, look her up and you'll see, like, she is the least clothed of anybody. And then look up her pictures in the comics, and I don't know where they got the design from. But that said, she does offer some of the coolest CGI in the film. There's some great visuals with her.
Right.
But yeah, just very let down.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought Enchantress could have been a lot better. It made the film a weak film weaker. So